Hi guys, and welcome to Piran in Slovenia.
So as you can see, Piran is an absolutely beautiful town on the Slovenian coast. We absolutely fell in love with it when we visited. So we wanted to share with you all of the things we now know about Piran so that you can go and visit this beautiful place in Slovenia too.
In this video we're going to outline some great things to do, some amazing things to eat, as well as where to stay.
And of course some travel essentials as well, like how to get here, how to get around once you're here, what time of year to visit, and how long do you need to actually explore Piran.
Well, let's get started.
So Piran is on the Adriatic coast and it's absolutely stunning. You can have a look at Piran Port here where all the boats are, and then you can also continue to walk along the point of Piran.
One of the main squares here in Piran is Tartini Square, and this is a really big square. Sometimes they have markets here, there's some great places for ice cream or get a coffee and stuff like that, but as a whole it's just a beautiful square. In this square actually is also a building of interest, the Venetian House. So this references some great Venetian architecture and highlights the fact that Piran was once part of the Venetian Republic.
A beautiful spot to visit in Piran is the Church of St. George, which is actually set up on top of the hill in Piran. So it also gives you some stunning views out over Piran town. So we're here in Piran. We actually got here last night and this is our first full day exploring.
Yeah, and it's such a beautiful place, one of our favourite places I think.
Yeah. I think it's absolutely stunning here. It's really laid back. There seems like there's actually lots of locals. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
Every building is a beautiful colour. The architecture's amazing. We're just now walking up to see the walls and also the church and the bell tower. You can have a quick look at the church and all the views around of the ocean and Piran town, and then you can also pop up the bell tower, which has some stunning views. Some of the best views you'll see of Piran are from here, so definitely make sure that you do this.
Yeah, but be careful though, when the bells go and you're up there it can be very loud. So,
very loud.
So keep that in mind, but the views up there are beautiful.
Stunning.
So we're just at the top of the Piran bell tower, and the view from up here is probably my favourite view so far, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really, really pretty. So this is right next to St. George's Church. So another great thing to do near this area is walk the old city walls of Piran.
Yeah, so there's actually not a lot that you could access, but it was a nice short little part to walk along, have a look at the old city walls and just get a different vantage out over Piran. So we've just made it up the top of the city walls. It looks like this is one of the highest points on the city walls.
And we've just come from down in Piran town, and then we did also the bell tower, which you can see behind us.
Yeah, and the cathedral, and then we just wandered up here.
It's really beautiful. So so far a couple of really nice views over the city. View-wise, I think I actually slightly prefer the bell tower so far.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because you can see more closely the city. Here you've got a sort of further higher up view.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends what you like. Oh my god, it's stunning actually.
It's actually a really beautiful view of Piran. It's a different view again to what it was over at the bell tower. Worthwhile for sure.
Yeah, we were saying that we preferred the bell tower when we started, and I do love the view from the bell tower, but this is just completely different again. I think definitely do both.
Yeah, it's a lot higher up. You get a completely different feel. We thought we preferred the other one, but they're just different. This is really nice up here too.
And especially when you get to the end where we are now, you can see beautiful ocean down there, and then you can see over the town as well. So it's really nice. So we're just about to head back. It's actually not a long walk at all. There's just a section of wall, so it's perfect. You can kind of get a nice little walk and different views along the whole wall. So let's head back. Another great place to visit in Piran town itself is the Franciscan monastery, or the monastery of St. Francis.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful monastery that you can walk around and explore a couple of the different rooms, but the main highlight for me personally was the beautiful courtyard inside the monastery. It's really, really pretty, so if you get a chance, pop in there.
Yeah, for sure. If you've got time when you're in Piran, there are some great walks that you can do as well. Either a 20-minute walk to Fiesa or about a 40-minute walk in the other direction to Portoroz.
Yeah, so we actually did the walk to Portoroz, and it follows the coast pretty much the entire way around, and it's a really beautiful walk to do. So we've just decided to walk from Piran to Portoroz, the next town.
Yeah, so we've chosen the most coastal route that we can, and we'll continue along here and we'll show you along the way.
Yeah, so I think it's meant to take about 40-45 minutes, so we'll see how it goes. I must admit though that I personally preferred exploring Piran than I did Portoroz. Portoroz is sort of more of a coastal resort feel to it, whilst Piran is sort of more of a charming little town. But definitely worthwhile if you have the time.
Yeah, we didn't have the time to do both, and if we had our time over, we probably would actually give the other walk a go, the walk to Fiesa.
Mainly just because it's a shorter walk, it's closer, and it would definitely take up less of your day to do the walk to Fiesa than to do the walk to Portoroz. So if you're short on time, probably start with the walk to Fiesa, and then if you have more time, you can do the walk to Portoroz.
Yeah, and one thing to note too is you can always just get the bus back, so you don't need to walk both directions.
Yeah. And again, if you have the time while you're in Piran, if you're staying for more than a few days, nearby towns such as Isola or Koper, you've got Strunja Nature Park, and you also have the salt pans here in this area. Another place that you could visit is Trist, which is actually part of Italy, and it's about a 1-hour bus. So most of these places you can get a bus to. I think that the salt pans you'll actually have to organise your own transport, but these are really things you consider doing if you definitely have more than a few nights in Piran.
Yeah, because Piran definitely warrants a few nights.
Yeah, and I think even though Piran isn't a place that you have 1,000 things to tick off your to-do list, that's kind of the point. Where there's some really great things to do there, and then I think it's all about just wandering around the little laneways, relaxing, swimming in the ocean, eating great food, and really just taking your time and not rushing while you're in Piran. So where to eat when you come to Piran? Well, Piran actually has some amazing food. Being on the coast, there's a lot of seafood dishes, and there's also a lot of Italian influence here, so that's the kind of food you'll come to expect when you're in Piran. One of our absolute favourite places was Bricholin Pre-Cantini.
This is definitely the favourite spot that we ate during our time in Piran. We had some really great fish, some really great fried calamari, and yeah, it was just a really nice atmosphere sitting out in the courtyard, having a drink and having some great food.
It was so nice. I'd highly recommend to come here at lunchtime and try and come either early or later because it can get really busy.
Yeah, it's really great. It's also got a nice casual feel. There's some locals playing cards, and you just get your little order on a shell with a number, and they call the number and you come and collect your food, and it's just a really great spot to sit. It's
sort of everything I think you would expect from Piran and your experience in Piran. So definitely, if you eat anywhere, eat there. If you're after more of a restaurant setting, then Primari is a great option.
And if you're after a great coffee, the favourite that I found in Piran was Cafino Piran, which was really nice. You could sit out there, you got the water right in front of you, the coffee was really nice, the people really nice. And we even had a pizza there too, which is reasonable too.
Yeah, so this is a great place to people watch, to watch everyone jump into the water and swim. It's just, you could sit there for hours just having a coffee.
Which we did.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. And of course you can't come to Piran without having some delicious ice cream, and we really loved a place called Vezda, which you'll find in Tartini Square. It's at a little window right next to the Art Hotel Tartini.
So when it comes to where to stay in Piran, to be honest, it's not that large, so you can't really go too wrong as long as you stay within Piran.
Yeah, so basically as long as you stay in Piran Old Town itself, you can walk everywhere and you'll have amazing things outside your doorstep. So I definitely recommend, if you can, stay within the Old Town. Okay, so hopefully by now you have fallen in love with Piran just like we have, and you might be wondering, how do I get there? So there's so many different ways to actually get to Piran depending on where you're coming from. So if you're coming from Ljubljana, which is Slovenia's capital city, you can get a 2.5 to 3 hour bus from Ljubljana directly to Piran. In terms of the buses, I believe there's two main options. One that sort of has quite a few more stops and goes the more sort of scenic but more hilly route, and one that's more direct and goes more down the freeways and highways.
Yes, so for us we went the hilly and scenic route, which was exactly that. It was quite hilly and quite scenic, but we got to Piran really easily.
Yeah, so that's super easy if you want to get from Ljubljana to Piran. Another way, if you're not keen on buses, is to get a train from Ljubljana to Koper, and then you can get a bus from Koper to Piran. It's a little bit longer, but most of your journey will be on train rather than bus. If you're coming from Venice, you can actually get a ferry directly across from Venice to Piran. That takes about 2.5 to 3 hours. You can also get the train around from Venice to Trieste in Italy, and from Trieste it's only about a 30-minute to an hour bus or drive depending how you come. You might also be coming to Piran from the Istrian coast in Croatia, so places like Rovinj, Pula and Porridge. So there are actually buses that run from these places to Piran itself, local buses. This will be a longer way to go about doing it, but you can definitely use a local bus to get from Istria to Piran.
So the way that we did this, well, we did it in reverse from Piran to Rovinj. We got a shared shuttle service. For us this was really great. It just picked up and dropped off basically door to door.
Yep. So we used a service called Go Opti. Our personal experience was really, really great. And the main sort of big international airports that might be nearby to Piran are obviously Ljubljana, Venice, Zagreb even, and if you're looking a bit further afield, perhaps places like Milan and Vienna. So as you can probably tell by now, getting around Piran itself is pretty easy. It's quite small. You can see all the sites by foot. You can even walk to Fiesa and Portoroz by foot if you want to, but you can also get local buses to other neighbouring towns.
Or taxis as well. There's taxis available. So in terms of how long to spend in Piran, we spent a couple of nights, and it was a great amount of time in terms of we did everything we wanted to do there, with the exception to one extra of the coastal walks.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I'd say 3 nights would be a great amount of time to spend in Piran.
Yeah.
You could spend longer if you really just wanted to switch off and just enjoy a nice relaxing town to be in.
Yeah.
But if you're wanting to see a few more things or always be seeing something new, then probably 2 or 3 nights would be what you're after.
Yeah, so there's definitely more things to do and more towns to visit. So if you want to spend those 3 or 4 nights there to see a couple more spots, then by all means it'll be worth your time. But if you just really want to explore Piran itself, we stayed 2 nights and that was probably a minimum, I would think.
Yeah.
You could definitely do Piran in a day trip, but I do think that you're losing a lot of the charm of Piran by sort of visiting just in those peak busy hours.
Yeah, because sometimes the mornings and the evenings when it's so much quieter were the best times for us.
Definitely, so I definitely think it's worthy of at least a couple of nights stay, if not longer.
So when are the best times to visit Piran? So we visited in September, which is one of the shoulder season periods, and we thought it was quite good. It was still quite busy during the days, but the night times are still quite relaxed.
Yeah, there was lots of activity around without it being overrun by tourists. It still felt very local and the weather was great. So it still had really nice warm sunny days, and the water is still at a warm temperature to be able to jump in and have a swim.
Yeah.
Our pick, I guess, is the shoulder months of maybe May, June even. September, maybe October, but it might be getting a little bit chilly then.
Yeah.
But then, of course, the summer months are fine, but just be prepared for more tourists.
So if you're heading to Piran, check out our article on our blog, AlmostLanding.com, where we have everything listed in this video, plus more, and also a map to help you plan your time in Piran.
And a printable guide to Piran with all the details we've mentioned in the video, so you just have it all there on one page that you can either print off or download onto your phone and take with you.
Piran is just a really great spot to check out, whether you're in Slovenia, and it's so close to both Croatia and Italy in parts, so if you're in any of these three countries, it's a great spot to consider checking out.
So we hope you guys enjoy your time in Piran if you head there, and if you have any questions, let us know in the comments below.
Thanks guys, we'll see you next time.